Yeah. So you tell me where you are and what you're up to this morning.
Right now I am in Linton Bay, Panama, and I'm on board with my 5 kids and my husband on our 50-foot monohull. And here's the anchorage kind of behind me here. Get a little scenery. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's Holly. Man, I haven't seen you in ever, and you look exactly the same.
I thank you. Yeah, it has been a long time. I was like trying to remember, when was it in Cabo 1.5 million years ago that we saw each other? Question mark.
It had to have been. I think so. I don't think we've. Yeah, we haven't ran into each other. It's been a long time, man. It's been crazy. And now you have kids. I have too many kids.
So many kids. So
here we are.
I mean, there's so much to catch up on, but for those that don't know you at all, can you talk a little bit about your story? Like
my crazy life.
Yeah, I mean, maybe start with what you're doing. Why don't we start with the present, like what you're doing right now, and then we can go back in time and talk about how you got here. So
how we got here.
As I understand it, you are traveling the world on a sailboat with your 5 kids. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It was a dream the husband and I had 18 years ago. Never thought we would have 5 kids. And now here we are trying to live the dream with the kids and, give them a good shot at seeing the world and a good education.
How can you talk us through, what are the ages of the kids? Are they all boys? Question mark.
They're all boys. And the oldest is 14. And then I have 12, 10, 4, and 3. So
wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. And is there another one on the way? Like, are we capping it at 5?
Just stopped. We were capped off at 5. Yeah. No more. Yeah. No girls. All these guys.
Yeah.
He was my 40th birthday and he was my 41st birthday.
Crazy.
He's number 3.
What's up?
Yeah, they'll just keep popping up. I don't know.
Yeah. So what is it like? Like, how long have you been living on the sailboat?
We're coming up on 3 years living aboard. So these little guys have been on the boat more than they've been on land, really. And we're just cruising. Our first goal was to get through the Bahamian chain and make our way to Panama, to Bocas del Toro, and that's what we did. And then we actually spent a little too much time in Bocas del Toro. So we were there for like 15 months or so. And we just headed out to come to San Blas, where we were for the last couple of weeks. And we were just kind of waiting on a weather window to get back to the States. But the tropics have been like bombing. Is that a fishing boat? And we're kind of trapped in Panama, essentially, for the moment. But it looks like Tuesday there's going to be a window of opportunity, and we're going to follow out one storm and try to make it ahead of where they think another one's going to form. So, say hi to the husband.
Yeah, husband. Holding it down. Awesome. So, and then when you head back to the States, then what's the plan? Are you getting off the boat, or just the boat will be in those waters?
So there's 2 things that are essentially could possibly happen. Is we might be doing like a refit on this boat, or it's kind of a big secret, but we may be selling this boat and upgrading and getting something a little bigger, because this is a 50-foot monohull, and it's, there's 7 of us, and my 14-year-old is like 6'3" already. So he can't fit in his room anymore. So no, but our goal is to keep going. We're just going to go there. I have to deal with some medical stuff and kind of regroup, and the husband's going to work, and, we'll just keep going with the wind. So I've been working on YouTube, making videos for the last 2 years. So just kind of documenting our lives and putting it out there, and we've been slowly and steadily picking up pace, and it's been a lot of fun. A lot of hard work goes into making videos, but I've been doing that for a minute, and we're just going to stay focused on that and just keep the journey alive and just keep going.
Awesome. So if people want to check out those videos, what's the handle? How can people find you?
Yeah, the handle is Motherload Sailing. Motherload Sailing, because that's what we are, the Motherload.
Yeah. And are the boys surfing?
Yeah, everybody's surfing. Well, Rebel is surfing with us. Nadas will catch some waves by himself, but the other three totally surfing. Panama was a good place for them in Bocas because there was like this wave pool little inside left around from the point. And it's so funny because the kids were a little freaked out about reef and stuff. And they wouldn't surf the point, Caranero, with us, but they would surf this wave inside. And it was so much more shallow and so much more reef, but they were like more comfortable there. So that was a big, they've really progressed a lot. Everybody's really grown and progressed in the last 17 months. It's kind of been a trip to see. So it's all been positive. And yeah, of course, everyone's going to surf. It's just not permitted to not surf. So yeah.
Rad.
Yeah.
So let's go back in time and talk about how you got here. So where did you grow up and how did you get into surfing?
Yeah. Well, I technically am from North Carolina, but I moved to Florida when I was really young. 15, I got scouted by an agency, modeling agency, and I was globetrotting New York, everywhere, LA, and I ended up in Miami was like my base camp. And from there, believe it or not, nobody thinks there's waves there, but I learned to surf there. And my boyfriend at the time, Jerry, he was a really good surfer, and we just started traveling up and down the coast. And I had been modeling for a little while, and my agency was not a fan of me becoming a surfer chick by any means. But things just kind of, I don't know, progressed, and I fell in love with surfing, and I didn't want to stop, so I just kind of chose that path, and that was, was that 97, 96, 97, and from there, like, so many things happened. So many things happened. So,
right. I think this is where we crossed paths probably in the very late 90s or early 2000s because we were both sponsored by Body Glove.
Yes.
And I remember doing some traveling and photo shoots with you. And we've talked on this podcast with a few different people about how in that era there was such a tricky thing around the whole modeling versus surfing and like how you identified and how other people saw you. Was that something that you struggled with as well?
Yeah, I think for me, I love surfing and I kind of had a knack for it. I never thought that I was a professional surfer by any means. I surfed some contests and whatnot, but it was kind of like, well, are you like you're just a model? You don't really, it's like I really do surf and I really do love surfing, but I'm not, on the tour or wanting to surf contests, but I just happen to be, the look that they're wanting, and I just kind of fit into that little niche. And yeah, that's my whole career. Actually, it was just like up in the wind. It was just like a day by day. Like I never really thought about the future and things that really mattered. So it was like, like one day everything is whatever, the next day it was a whole different thing. So yeah, I think about it now, and I think about situations and choices that I made in the past, being young and just kind of out on my own at a really young age. It's like you're naive, you're not really, like I said, you're not thinking about the future all that much. So it was a crazy ride, and I did have fun. Body Glove, I love those guys, and it was just they helped me out a lot. and that's kind of when my career took that turn, and I made that what would you call it when you step out and went to that next level with the whole Playboy thing. That was when the surfing became, it was like, oh, she's a surfer and da 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 da. I don't
Yeah, well,
even.
I wanted to ask you about that, but I didn't know how you would feel talking about it, especially with your grounds right there.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
do remember. I remember actually when Playboy was hoping, like, that was in that era, the early 2000s, where it was like in the era of like the
surfing was.
reality TV shows, the one that I was on, and then the one that
Yeah,
like Mary Osborne was on, the MTV Surf Girls, and then all of a sudden the image of a female surfer was like the thing.
right.
Chanel had like surfers like walking down, or like not surfers,
So
excuse me,
ridiculous.
models holding
Carrying
surfboards like on the
surfboards with them.
runway.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just
and then Playboy was looking for a surfer, and I think that all of us that were that age at that time got hit up. I remember my manager was like,
yeah.
"Hey, so what do you think, Playboy?" And he
And
wasn't
you're like,
serious, but you were the one that did it.
I did it.
So, what was that decision making process like for you? And when you talk about how make maybe not regrets, but kind of, I mean, I hear you talking about your past, like, oh, I don't know if some of those decisions were right. Like, what was that like, and how do you feel about it now?
Um, I no regrets. Definitely. Yeah, I was just young, and my agency was like, would you want to do that? I kind of didn't. I held off for a minute, and they got it to where I wanted it to be, like contract wise and whatever. And I'm like, I really don't have anything to lose, and I'm not, I'm not a modest person in that sense. Not that I'm, whatever, but I just feel like the human body is just a human body, and I had been basically exploiting myself for a few years already in the modeling industry, and you kind of lose your your shell a little bit. And so for me, making that decision, it really wasn't that big of a deal, and I definitely don't regret it by any means. I had a great time going out there, and I got to meet Hef and hang out at his house and like feed his monkeys, and I've got some good videos, I've got some good pictures, a lot of great memories, and yeah, it was just a from there it was a whirlwind after, man, like the surfing thing, and everybody was like, oh my god, and it was kind of crazy, and I kind of lost sight of the important things, and I was a little bit lost and needed to find my way. So everything's a lesson in life. I learned a lot, and yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much what it is. Like, we learn from our mistakes and good things too, and we just get to where we are now. It's all character build. So my kids are totally 100% on board. They know all about my career and everything I've done, and it's pretty cute. I did a Kenny Chesney video, and that was like a big deal for a minute there in the early 2000s. And so they're like proud of that and whatever. But in today's world and the way kids are and like the internet, I mean, thank God we didn't have that back in those days. I'm like, thank God, thank God. But but yeah, I mean, everything leads to now. So I definitely
So
don't
then,
regret
okay, so then what was the next step? So you did the Playboy, and then your modeling career kind of went next level, and you had some other opportunities and gigs and that, and then what?
Well, I kind of, you know, I feel like I self sabotaged my career a little bit, and I did because I was just young and stupid, and I didn't think about the future and whatever. Like, now I think about everything that I did and like everything that I had at one point, and now I just, now I have everything in the world that means everything to me. But back then, it's like, oh my gosh, the money, the this, the that, and it's like you're not even thinking, making good choices, and like being responsible. Now it's a whole different thing. But I think basically what happened was I kind of just got lackadaisical on everything, and I really didn't really know where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. I kind of hung out with like different people, and it kind of chipped away at things. And early 2004, 2005, I think I came back to Florida then, and I just kind of was like, I'll keep working, doing catalog stuff or whatever, but I'm really not into it. And I was just kind of over it, over the whole scene because it is a big scene. Oh my gosh! Look at the crab.
That's fake.
It's a fake crab.
Yeah.
It's really weird. A fake crab. Okay.
Yeah, cute.
Yeah. All right. Go back. Go play. He's got little tiny balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I know I keep ranting because they're like over here with like my old spice bottles like playing in the water, and I'm just like, the husband's fixing stuff. I'm focusing on you.
This is life on a sailboat. It's all good.
It's like a constant motion.
Mom life.
This is a big deal. I was looking for this. My eye.
Yeah, white guys.
Where was that? Okay, go. I'm talking to Holly. Okay, don't lose that. I want to keep.
So you mentioned that you self-sabotage. Do you mean you just like got over it and let it go in a way that maybe you wish that you had been more diligent, or?
I really wish, and I was really, I didn't have the best childhood, and which is why I was pretty much on my own at 14, 15, and at that time it's like you don't really see the effects from things until you get older, and now I can put things together. But when I think back about it, yeah, it was pretty embarrassing, and I just kind of like let it go. And if I had just cared a little bit and not been so just naive and just whatever, I mean, who knows what could have happened? But then again, it might have changed the way things are now, and I wouldn't change this for the world. This is all that matters. So, but yeah, so in a nutshell, yeah, I did.
So then you ended up back in Florida, just like over the scene, and then sort of reevaluating what you wanted in life and what you wanted to do next. And at some point, you met your husband.
That's when the husband came into play, because I was back for a couple of months, and Surf Expo had like come and gone again, and I did that one last time, and did a few random things in Miami, a couple jobs, and just so happened that we end up crossing paths. And pretty much it's a long story. I mean, I guess it goes back to a friend of a friend, and we just ended up meeting, and I didn't think at first we were going to hit it off at all. I actually was like, this guy is a total tool. Like, I do not like this guy at all. But we kept hanging out, and next thing you know, I mean, yeah, we were inseparable. And I started fishing. He was a commercial fisherman, and he was a king fisherman. And so he had his own business, whatnot. Do not drink the water off of the solar panels. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. It's fresh water, but still. Hey.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I started fishing with him, and then I turned into this commercial fisherwoman, and pretty much I just never looked back. Like I never looked back. I just focused on life with him and just tried to like compartmentalize everything and just, be on a different
What
path.
a contrast to go from being a model and hanging out at the Playboy mansion and doing, music video shoots or whatever, to like now you're a commercial fisherwoman. Like, were you tripping? Were you like, who I don't even know who I am right now.
I seriously, yeah. And at the time I really liked it because it gave me like purpose, like I felt like I had purpose, and I was a hard worker, and I worked my ass off with him, and man, we went through it, and it was gnarly. And that's when we got married. We got married in 2008, and we pretty much scraped up all the money that we had, and we had a boat on eBay that was like an auction thing. And he's like, we're going to get this boat. It was like our dream. We wanted to buy a sailboat and live aboard and just cruise and surf, like that whole dream. And we actually ended up winning the boat, and it was in North Carolina, close to my grandmother's house. And we ended up going up there and getting the boat every dime that we had. And we kind of got trapped there for a minute because there was hurricanes, and sailed back down to Florida, put the boat out at anchor, and just worked our asses off again and just stacked money. And then we just put everything into the boat and just started gutting it out and just refitting it and getting it ready to cruise. And, meanwhile, a year and a half into it, I was pregnant with my first child. It actually started with the Labrador. We had the puppy first, and then I got pregnant with Bobby, and we still had the boat, and Bobby was with us, and we were like getting ready to like cruise, and then I got pregnant again. And it just like turned into this thing where we had to sell the boat because he was like, man, we got to get a house, like we can't all live on this boat and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So we did the whole 9 yards. We got, he was in the Merchant Marines, and we saved up, we got our house, and we had everything. And I never expected to have 5 kids. It was like, I thought we were done at 3. And then my 40th birthday, it was like, nope, you're not finished. So it was a big surprise. And, I mean, we had everything. We had the pool, the half pipe, we had an acre of land. Like, it was awesome, but it just wasn't, we just weren't like happy, like we were happy, but we just felt like there was like a lot missing and a lot more. And the kids had already been in school for a while, so I'd already gotten them to a level with their education, the older ones. And we just kind of had this like moment where we were like, what are we doing? Like, what's holding us here? We don't have like a lot of, we have some family and whatnot, but everybody's spread out. We have great friends, but what's stopping us from doing this? Like, what if we just sold everything and all of us, we get the boat of our dreams and we just go for it, And that's pretty much what we did. And now
and how long happened between like starting to have those conversations and then deciding, yeah, let's do that. Let's sell the house and buy a boat?
I think it was all like the whole time he was commercial fishing. We always had our own, fishing boats, but they were like big boats because he would go to Louisiana and fish in the Gulf for months. So it's like we had nice boats like wheelhouses and like debriefs, and like it's a good sized boat. We took a trip to the Bahamas, the whole family, just when we had the 3 kids, and that was epic. And then we were like, okay, well, let's do this again. And then when we went down to the Bahamas, we were like there, and we were like staring at the waves. We were sitting in the abacus, and the husband's just like, what, we've always wanted to do this. We've always, like, what if? And I didn't want to sell the house. So I'm like, that's all we have. Like, can't sell the house. He's like, it'd be kind of a pain to do it the opposite. Anyways, it took a couple months after that, and I was scared. I was definitely, I was like giving up my Betty like homemaker life, like I had everything. I had my own jewelry. I'm a silversmith now too, so I had that going, and I just had all this comfort, and like that good, like we're safe feeling. I just threw that out in the air and was just like, all right, fine, let's just do it. You only live once, right? So might as well, and if we can get our kids out on the ocean and they end up liking it, because it's being on a boat is not easy. It's really complicated actually. And it's either gonna be for you or it's not gonna be for you. Yeah. And you're gonna know really quick, So once we knew like they were good with, being out at sea and stuff, and they've been on boats their whole little young lives, but we were just like, oh well, let's just do it. Like, what's the worst that could happen? We all know what that is. So we don't have to go there. But here we are, So I know I'm kind of going in circles again.
No, it's good. So how long has it been then now that you've been on the boat?
It's been we're coming up close to 3 years. So we bought the boat in Port Charlotte, Florida, and we sailed around and we hung out in Florida for a minute at a dock and kind of redid our electrical system and like got the boat ready to go. And we sat on anchor for a couple months too, just to get used to being on the hook and not being at a dock, not be, just so you know what it's like to actually be like living on the water full time. And then we took off in February of was it 2022, somewhere around there, 22, or I can't really remember exactly. I do know that it was February. It's like right after President's Day. But we had been living on the boat for about, I don't know, 7-8 months at that point. And we just took off for the Bahamas and just made our way down, took our time too, going down. So, and now we're in Panama.
And how is it like, especially like having a teenager, like your oldest son being 14, and all the social things that start happening at that age?
Yes.
Like how is it for him and you as his mom, like navigating that?
So it's all new for me. We're currently directly in the middle of that. But I think socially, obviously he doesn't have a specific group of friends. We do have friends in Florida, but us moving around and going to different anchorages, and there's a huge community of sailors everywhere that you go, wherever you go, and there's families of kids and stuff, and everybody kind of just intermingles. And are your kids, do they play Roblox and like Minecraft
Yeah.
and stuff? Yeah,
Totally.
so they are so connected with so many people. So they have like this whole world of Roblox. So if we're not surfing or, like today it's raining, like everybody's like Robloxing. But I think that once he gets to like a place, like that we all know is going to happen, I'm just kind of like one day at a time, like right now everything's good and he's happy and content, and he's just coming into it now. So we'll see what happens. But he wants to keep going, and he's actually he's like a computer. He 3D prints things. We have a 3D printer, and he codes. He has like makes things with like Raspberry Pis and Arduino, programs all this stuff. He basically fixes everything that the husband can't fix. My son is like soldering like microchip boards and like fixing things, so he's super smart and handy. And when we were in Panama, I actually had him taking classes with this gentleman named Patrick, and he's like a genius. And so he was doing classes with him every week, and he basically taught him like the fundamentals for him to actually be able to like program and just create like circuit boards and all kinds of crazy stuff, No, don't jump in the water. I don't know. Just let me finish, and then you can get in the water, okay? Yeah.
So it is interesting to think about like the different education that your groms are getting. And so like I would have to ask about that too. Like as far as it sounds like you were in Florida until they had gotten the basics of reading and writing. And then how have you been approaching education beyond that?
So one important thing for us is he pushed him in the water.
If you need to like navigate that, mom, all the moms listening totally understand.
Come here. Okay. Are you okay? What did you do? What did he just do to him? Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
So the important thing is Starlink. internet. So when we got it, it was right before they changed everything, because it was pretty cool, because sailors pretty much hopped on that train right away. And but then they made it to where they knew everybody was like using all this internet, and then they made it more expensive and changed it and made a marine package, blah blah blah. Long story short, being here in Panama and close to land, we've got good internet. We'll still have it out at sea, but you have to pay per gig um, when you are doing a long passage. But point is so I have everything at my fingertips. All the curriculum is online. It's not like how homeschooling was 10 years ago. Like it's pretty much you could do everything online these days. So that's pretty much my resource that I go to. I've got them on a few different applications that they do. And then reading, we got a lot of books. They do a lot of reading. If they're not doing everything else, that's like one of my most important things. It's like just stay focused on reading and math. Math is kind of a little technical for us, so we do a little extra stuff with that. But yeah, but the freaking internet, man, it's just like this great thing, isn't it? We're like
right.
talking to each other right now. It's nuts.
But it still requires a lot of parental supervision, I feel like, especially when you have like so many kids at different ages that are working on different things. Like I find like I had these big dreams of like, oh, I'm going to live in Nicaragua and I'm going to homeschool my kids. And then I went to like start to do that. And I was like, oh my God, this is,
really
it's
hard.
not easy to teach a kid to read.
Yeah. It's really,
Get a water with me.
okay, 1 minute. Let me finish talking to Holly and then I'll get in, okay? Yeah, I'll get in the water. Hold on, okay? Okay, I'll put the ladder in. Can you tell your dad? Because your dad's just over there and I'm talking to Holly and yeah.
Nothing like mom's attention.
Yeah, always. It is complicated. One of the things that we do, it's called, I think it's CAN, KHAN. I used to call it CON, but then I'm like, that doesn't sound right for homeschooling, They have structured videos that actually, they literally go back and they'll go through like each step with you, like someone physically like teaching you over this, so you can keep like kind of going back and forth, and as far as that, yeah, I've kind of let it just play out and let them take that kind of into their own hands and watch what they're doing, and if there's like something that's not whatever, then dad and I'll step in, and whatnot. My focus right now is getting these two, because that's the hardest, is when they're little and you have to teach them, step 1, step 2. This is A.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still talking.
And being diligent about it. I know with my kids, it was like they didn't really want to do it and I didn't really want to do it. So it's so easy to be like, okay, fine, we'll do it later. And then then you're making lunch like and then it's like chill time. And
did we do school this week? You're like, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I kind of I gave them a lot of leniency, especially in the beginning, because it was a big transition to go from, living on land to living aboard. And I wanted them to really take in everywhere that we went, and just be able not to have stress or, that, because my kids would lock up in school a little bit. Bobby, especially when he got under pressure, when it came time to testing, he would just like, I don't know, he would just like blank out, and he'd get to, he was like honor roll, like on and off, but then the testing is, and honestly, between that and all the craziness that was going on, that still is going on in schools in the U.S., which, it is what it is. I was like, yeah, there's not really anything holding me back from educating my kids out at sea and traveling and, and just kind of giving them that life,
for sure.
I would rather them take all this in and learn, from just living and being out at sea, doing big crossings, passages, and like learning where we're going, how to like plot our course, use the GPS, latitude, longitude, reading the compass, learning how to haul out sails and whatnot, and knowing how to like take care of themselves if anything crazy were to happen. Those are kind of things that are super important for us right now in this point. But yeah.
So then how are you, like, not to get too personal, so answer how you like, but like, how are you navigating finances? Like, are you able to make some money with the YouTube, or are you going back and working periodically and just like trying to live cheap and sail instead of motor, or how does that work?
You would think that it's pretty cheap, but it's actually it could be quite expensive. For the most part, we just got to where we were monetized on YouTube, which is awesome. We just reached over 2,000 subscribers, which is awesome because I've just been consistently at it. I am suck at social media and marketing. I am so like, and then making YouTube videos, it really like, it takes a lot of, time and effort, which I clearly have a lot of. And so it's like, hopefully that will grow and we'll gain more of a following and whatnot. But we just got there, and for the most part, I mean, the husband, he was flying back to the States, and I was just staying with the kids and here in Panama, and he'd leave for like 3 months and be gone and go back and work and then come back. And our goal is to go through the canal and get into the Pacific and end up over there. But so many things have just happened. We just have to go back and regroup for a minute and get more fitted out to do that crossing. That's a big one. And living aboard now for almost 3 years, we know what we need and what's needed and what needs to happen for us to do it properly and not have to go back to work every 3 months.
That's got to be so intense when your husband goes back to work and now you're on a boat with 5 kids. Like, how do you even stay sane dealing with that?
Not sure I am sane, Holly. But hold on, I'm talking. Hold on. Okay, just hold on. I'm talking to Holly.
What would you say? Like, I understand being like the single mom and like navigating the kids and trying to get work done or do a podcast, and the kids are like screaming for your attention. But what would you say? Is it easier or harder being on a boat, and what's the big difference there?
I would definitely say that I would say that it's harder for sure. Just because you have this extra added level of stress, like, oh my God, where's Nodus? Oh my God, where's Rebel? And you're surrounded by water. So swimming is our number one. They're really good at. Actually, this kid, my 5-year-old, dives like 25 feet already, and is yeah. So, anyways, it's a little bit harder, but the thing is what I get on the return side, like where we're at, all the positive, outweighs the hard, like it just kind of evens out, honestly. So, I mean, yesterday we were sailing here and we were coming up in a squall, and I told the husband, I'm like, you should probably reef the main, because we're going to hit that. And he didn't want to listen to me. And our furler, or roller furler on our jib sheet, he didn't have it jammed, pleated off back here. And sure enough, there's a microburst, and it was like, shoo, like all this wind, the boat heels over, the whole jib, my whole huge genoa just like fills with air, like it unrolls on the furler, and we're like, whoa. And that was like, that could have been so bad, so dangerous. I mean, we were okay, and luckily it wasn't like too gnarly of a microburst of wind, but it was one of those moments where you're just like, anything can happen.
Yeah. And what would have, like, for someone that doesn't speak that language, like, what were you worried about? Like the boat tipping over, or?
So yeah, I mean, you could lose your rig like that. I mean, you can get demasted. You could, I mean, monohulls. It's like, yeah, you could get knocked over, knocked down. I mean, you'll come back up, but yeah, I mean, just getting demasted is like probably one of the scariest things that you could possibly go through. I would think, So that was a
Have there been? Do you have another good story of like something that either went horribly wrong or almost did?
So there's actually an episode of us. It's one of our earlier episodes when we were doing the crossing from Great Anagua, Bahamas to Panama. We didn't stop, so it took us about 7.5 days to get here. And it was Mother's Day, actually. And we had just caught a mahi. It seemed like everything was cool. And then all of a sudden, alarms were going off, and we realized that our rudder. So you've got a rudder post that comes in from under the boat, and it's got your rudder on the outside, but it goes into this shaft, and it has like like this like nut thing. It's like a big piece of metal of stainless, and the rudder dropped down like 5-6 inches. So we were taking water on from the intrusion from the rudder dropping. Basically, we lost steering, and we were in like 12-foot seas. It was like 10-12 feet. It was just one of those moments. And if you watch the episode, I think it's episode 10, I want to say, you can see like the sea state, and like we're just like, and the kids are just like sitting there like, what's going on? And there's like water alarms going off the bilge, and that was a good scary moment for sure. Because if you lose your rudder out at sea, that's no bueno,
So then how do you navigate that? How do you navigate trying to assess the situation, figure out how you're going to solve it while you've got 5 kids that are like now kind of freaked out? Like, what do you do?
Well, the one thing you can't do is lose your shit. You got to like keep it together, and just go from step one. What is my main? Okay, well, what do I have to do? Well, the husband had to go down into the rudder room, and kids sit down. And the good thing about having 5 kids is I do have that stair step, so they're a team. So they are like the most incredible brothers to one another. They love each other. They care about each other so much. I get complimented on that all the time, how good they are with each other. And honestly, I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have all of them. I can't imagine not having this many children at this point. That's like step one. Kids are safe. Everybody's, like life jackets or tethers or whatever. Like, what's our stat? Get them whatever. But we've got that plan in place where it's like they know, like, if shit hits the fan and mom and dad or whatever, like, it's our job to take control of ourselves, and especially the babies, and just whatever. So that's, you just go with the flow. Really, you have to. You can't fight the tide. It's like, if it's going down, it's like you just got to deal with it and just hope for the best. Really, it's pretty much, yeah. It's kind of
And
like
in that case, you were able to get the rudder sorted and
he was
crisis
able to go down
averted.
there with like a crowbar and like lift it up in the rudder room, and then I was able to screw on the top cap up here in the cockpit area, and it was intense for a moment, and then our whole bilge was just like flooded with water, salt water, and yeah, it was a hell of a Mother's Day. But we made it. So luckily, that's, we'll keep it at that. We're supposed to be leaving Tuesday following the storm out. Storm's gonna go like into the Gulf, and we're gonna kind of come out underneath it and keep heading north towards Jamaica. And that'll take us about, if we don't stop in Jamaica, it'll take us about 5.5 days to get to Great Anagua, Bahamas. If we do have to stop in Jamaica, it'll probably be like 3 days, 3.5 days, I think, and into the Windward Passage towards the Bahamas, back to Florida. We've been trying to get back for a minute now, but timing, weather, the hurricanes. It's been a really active season. So this is like our one window of opportunity to go. And so that's like our tension right now. It's like the husband's stirring around, like we're kind of staging up to hopefully pull out of here Tuesday morning. So
Awesome.
blah, 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 another rant. Just
Yeah, well, I wish you the best in that journey. And if you could like sum up all of the experiences you've had so far into like something you've learned or like life lessons, change of perspective, like would you say that this has changed you in a way that have gotten to that perspective now?
Well, 100%. Like, I mean, just going with the flow, and you know, if you're gonna do something, do it now, because tomorrow's too late. You know, that's just pretty much the motto. Like, just go. You know, you never know. Tomorrow is nothing but a promissory note. You know, so that's just my theory on things. And I look back at my whole career and everything, and I had a blast. I made some really dumbass decisions and hung out with some really great people, and you know, not the best, but no regrets. And like I said, I just went with the flow, and I'm here now, and I have 5 beautiful boys and my husband, and we've been married for 18 years now. We've been together, so you know, and we've seen a lot, been through a lot. So, but these little guys, like that's all that matters, you know.
Awesome. Dude,
Don't
thank you
have
so
any more-
much for what's that?
Don't have any more kids.
No, I'm done. I'm good. I got an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and that ship I'm not doing anymore.
You got the boy and the girl.
I got one of each. Yeah. I mean, I was the oldest of 5 girls, so I totally understand what it's like to have the big family and have the siblings looking after each other. And, you know, it was awesome. And I'm so grateful for my siblings now, but I did not want to.
Yeah.
I very much respect for you and all the what your body has done and what your mind has to do now.
Yeah. 5 C-sections. 5.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. So, you know, you're looking at me and you're like, I know how crazy you are, Amy.
For sure.
Yeah. But man, I'll tell you what, it is really good to see you. Like, I swear you still look exactly the same.
Oh my God, thank you.
No,
Yeah,
no.
and I can't wait. I have looked at your YouTube channel just a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna look up that one episode because I want to see how that all goes down.
For sure. I do want to catch up with you, man. We come back down here. We gotta link up. We'll
Yeah,
come
for
see
sure.
you.
Especially if you make it over to the Pacific side.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the dream. So knock on wood, and please, anybody, you know, like and subscribe. Check our channel out.
Yes, epic. Yeah, I'm just gonna say thank you, and you can get back to navigating your kids.
Whatever.